This is Judge Joe Brown, and we're listening to We All Be News. News-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Welcome, family, to another wonderful edutainment edition of The Artivist Thinks. I'm your host for the empowerment segment, Brother Ron, also known as R2C2H2 The Artivist. I'm coming to you live from Memphis National Cemetery on December 23rd, 2016, to give you the word, okay? So not what you heard, but the word from Mr. Heard, which is I, in Memphis National Cemetery at the location of the burial of the black U.S. colored troops who were massacred at the Fort Pillow massacre. These are the resting places of the victims of the Fort Pillow massacre, the Union black soldiers who were massacred by the Confederacy led by Nathan Bedford Forrest during the Civil War. Nathan Bedford Forrest was the founder and first Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. He's actually buried on a busy street in Memphis, just several blocks away from where they killed Dr. King, and also where they ran Ida B. Wells Barnett out of town, burned down a newspaper office back in the 19th century. So, why am I here? Well, I'm working on a project, my organization, the We All Be Group Incorporated, to try to commemorate the legacy of these brave men and women, because over 300 black troops, black women, and children were massacred at Fort Pillow, Tennessee, which is also known as Henning, Tennessee, which is the childhood home of Alex Haley, the guy who is known for Roots and the autobiography of Malcolm X. No, I did not say author. I said the guy who is known for the Roots novel and the autobiography of Malcolm X. So anyway, I say all this to say, this happened April 12, 1864, during the Civil War. And basically the guy who did the massacring, who led the massacre, from my understanding, a lot of Forrest people, General Nathan Bedford Forrest people, say he wasn't there, or that he did not give any command that day. He got hurt. I guess his horse fell on him or something like that. But from my understanding, what I just learned is that the Nathan Bedford Forrest forces actually waved a truce flag, I guess a white flag, and then they bum rushed the fort and massacred everybody that was black, you know, including little black babies. So this is what we're dealing with, and so I'm working on a project to bring honor to them. So I say all this to say, I'm not going to talk about that today in great detail, but I do want to talk about the current civil war going on in the black conscious community, or in the black community in general. But I want to talk about what's going on right now between Tariq NasHEed and Sotomayor. Two interesting figures with well-known platforms and a large following among black folk. Whether you agree or disagree, these guys are very influential and have a very large following in the black community. And people are making a much ado about what happened recently when Tariq NasHEed bomb rushed, I guess, so to speak, Sotomayor at a taping he was doing with DJ Vlad of the very popular Vlad TV series on YouTube. So I want to talk about that because I want to know from y'all, and y'all give me some input some type of way. Is Tariq NasHEed versus Sotomayor, is that our Ali versus Frazier? Is that our Malcolm X versus Martin Luther King? Is that Biggie versus Tupac? And is it really worth it? Because right now, if you haven't known it, till recently, the black community is very much under attack. And there's really no real black leadership anymore like it was maybe 60 years ago, 55 or 50 or even 45 years ago. You got a lot of black people with opinions and platforms. That's the best we could do right now. When black folks are getting killed by white road rage, when they're getting disenfranchised by the system through voting in private prisons, when they are getting poisoned by their own drinking water, the best we can do as black folks is start social media beefs. Like, I'm gonna tell you this, if somebody threaten you via social media, a lot of times they're not gonna follow through on that threat. Because, you know, real gangsters and revolutionaries, they don't talk about it, they be about it. They are not gonna say, I'm gonna kill so-and-so, and all of a sudden nothing happens and they show up and they, you know, a lot of posing going on. So what I'm saying is, black folks, we gotta get more serious in what we are getting. But the problem is the fact that we have not been allowed to really mature into grown people. Like what Neely Fuller Jr. says, we a black male, you're a black female, but you could never be a black man or a black woman in a system of white supremacy, racism. We very much do have a Peter Pan Toys R Us complex when it comes to black people. You know, because grown people should not be acting in certain ways. You know, like it says in the Bible, when I was a child, I act like a child, right? You know, you play with toys, but now they're playing for keeps out here on these streets in all areas of human activity. These white folks ain't playing with you no more. Now I think it's very much time to get together on some community stuff, on some building stuff. But here's the thing. I always talk to black people and people are concerned about unity. You can't unify with everybody because they got your skin color. Or even if they're your kin. I always tell people you need to find your tribe. The black folks or the people that you can get along with, y'all on the same page, y'all got the same goals and ideas in mind, and y'all can work together. You can't build with every black person, because every black person that comes from your tribe in Africa, we all come from different tribes. We all have different mother tongues, but we don't know what our mother tongues are because of the slavery, white supremacy have erased our identity. Because once again, I'll tell anybody and everybody to the day I die that your true education starts with a foundation of knowledge of self. Once again, your true education starts with the foundation of knowledge of self. It's not, you know, once you know who you are, you will have the confidence to do what you want to do in life. If you want to learn how to read, write, fly an airplane, be a singer, whatever, you will have the confidence knowing your background, who your people were, your roots. You know, like the paraphrase Brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey, a people without history is like a tree without roots. So know thyself, be thyself, and do for self. Know thyself, be thyself, and do for self. That should be our cry. But this is very interesting. A lot of people don't even know about the Fort Pillow Massacre incident that I'm talking about. Please Google this up. There are primary sources online, but I will hope that Brother Tariq and Brother Tommy can work this thing out, because my understanding, they were once friends, just like Ali and Frazier was at one point friends. They, from my understanding, Tommy Sotomayor and Brother Tariq NasHEed both donated to each other causes, both supported each other causes at one point. And the way white supremacy works, white power is derived from divide and conquer. Black power comes from unity and solidarity. Once again, white power comes from divide and conquer. Black power comes from unity and solidarity. White people could not colonize Africa without black folks' help. White people could not create the slave trade and have it be prosperous without black folks' help. The American economy could not have existed and continue to exist without black folks' help. Black folks built America. Economics, culture, spiritual, everything. I'm not going to argue with anybody about that, because all you got to do is do the research. But this country was built on our blood, sweat, and tears. They are still using black pain to generate white wealth. Once again, they're still using black pain to generate white wealth. And it's my hope that Brother Tariq and Brother Tommy can have a truce, because we don't need to lose any of those brothers right now. And I know a lot of people feel certain ways about Brother Tariq, and especially about Brother Tommy Sotomayor, but these guys have a very powerful platform. And right now, we need all hands on deck, because we do need a strong black media presence right now in this Trump era. I call it the Trump geist, not the zeitgeist, which is the spirit of the times, but the Trump geist, the time of Trump. So we need a alt black media. We do need an alternative black media to act as a counter to the white mainstream media, or even the alt-white media's narrative. So that's very much important in this time, but we got to pull our resources together. Just like we had a race beat 60 years ago. If it wasn't for those black newspapers or Jet Magazine or whoever, or Ebony or whatever, a lot of things we know about, we wouldn't know about, because it was the black press that broke the Emmett Till story. It was John H. Johnson who had the boldness and the courage to print the image of Emmett Till in his open casket for the world to see. So we got to remember that and honor that. So we need an alt black media, and you got people like Tariq NasHEed and Brother Tommy Sotomayor. They represent both ends and spectrums of the black community, or I guess it's community. You go black people. They both got huge fan bases. So we need balance. We need both of these guys to come to the table and try to hash this out, because, you know, it's sad, you know, because they show you that black men are gods. We have the power to create and destroy. It was like Carter G. Woodson said, who just had his birthday on December 19th. You know, to paraphrase him, when you condition a person so much, when they are conditioned to go through the back door, and if there's no back door available, they will make one to go through. And black folks, we could be our greatest hero and our greatest villain. We could be the greatest hero to ourselves as well as the greatest villain. And time is too short to be letting it get robbed by jealousy and hatred. But I understand now that hate is the new love in this era of the Trump geist. But that's my thoughts about that. I hope it blows over. I hope it don't lead to anything escalating further. But I want them brothers to rethink that, because it's sad in a day and age where we got black folks catching hell and terrorism, that we really have any real authentic leadership in this country, or in any areas of human activity that give black folks hope. They can give us alternatives and solutions. And another thing, I'm standing in this grave, this grave area of the Fort Pillow massacre victims. Now, did they die for this? Did they die for us to fight among ourselves? I mean, they died for the right to be free. You know, they had to liberate themselves. Nobody can give you freedom. You got to take your freedom if you want freedom. But I would like to say this. I definitely like to say this. Black people, we need an exit plan. We need an exit plan. We need strategy. Black people in this country are not citizens. Now, you could call us Americans, you know, because we've been here before Columbus, but we are not citizens of the Republic of the United States. That's never been resolved. You understand? Just like the 13th Amendment did not abolish slavery, fighting the Civil War and so-called winning the Civil War did not establish our citizenship, not even the amendments, because anytime you got to vote on your rights to vote every several years, it's like you having a driver's license. It's not a right, it's a privilege. So it's just a privilege for you to vote, so you're not considered a real citizen. Because if you are a citizen, voting is a part of the deal. It's not a part from the deal, it's put with the deal. It's a part of the deal, not apart from it. So understand that, recognize that we are not citizens as it stands. And you say, well, Brother Ron, I think you kind of over top, but think about it. During the Civil War, what did they call black folks who ran away from their so-called master and plantation? Contraband. Not even people. Not even refugees, what they call Katrina survivors or FEMA survivors after hurricane disaster FEMA Katrina. They called them refugees, but during Civil War time, our ancestors was called contraband. Before that, we was considered 3/5 in the Constitution. And even you think about the mentality, we were considered commodities and property to be owned and commodities to be made money off of. The largest healthcare provider in the country today is Aetna. Aetna at one point was selling life insurance policies to slave owners on their slaves. So why are black folks paying for Obamacare or any type of care if you use my ancestors to make wealth for this country? The largest healthcare provider should provide for all descendants of enslaved Africans healthcare. That should be a mute point. Just like Henrietta Lacks, her kin should be getting free healthcare. But yet they use her immortal cells without her permission. She died before she was 30 for ovarian cancer, and she got her folks in Baltimore can't get healthcare, and the healthcare industry complex have made a killing, billions and billions and billions of dollars out of this poor black woman's cell. And her descendants can't even eat, let alone get free healthcare, living indignant. You know, so I say all this to say that's what it is.
And furthermore, I want to say this, family, as I bring up the issue with brother Tariq NasHEed and Sotomayor. You know, everybody who's a follower of Tariq, who's aware that Tariq has this thing called Crispy, the puppet that's based on Sotomayor. And the word crispy is very controversial because, like, Tariq explains it as being ashy, but Tommy says it's about the darkness of his skin, by him being a very dark black man. And it reminds me another way of Ali and Frazier, where Ali used a gorilla. No, he called Joe Frazier a gorilla. He used to promote their legendary fight, the Thriller in Manila. He called it the Gorilla in Manila. He said his goal was to promote the fight by any means. And we all know that if Muhammad Ali was alive today in his prime, or if they had social media back in the day, that Muhammad Ali would have been the ultimate internet troll on the level of a Donald Trump or a 50 Cent, because he was so good at self-promotion, as well as, you know, with the dozens, as we call them back in the day. They call it play the dozens, you know, your mama jokes and all that stuff. But I say all this to say, you know, since that time has passed, we still have not learned our lesson. Like Muhammad Ali, he was apologetic about using the example of a gorilla to compare Joe Frazier. We all know that Joe Frazier took it very personal, and that it really angered him for decades of his life. It might have shortened his life, the anger he felt about Muhammad Ali using or calling him a gorilla or painting him as an Uncle Tom. You know, it's a phenomenon with the coon thing now. The coon is the new word for Uncle Tom. So I say all this to say that history seems to repeat itself. You know, different characters, same story. So I hope, family, we can really flip this before it becomes too negative, just in time for the new Trump guys. Cause I think we, like I said, we need to have all hands on deck. We need to have all shades of blackness represented through a new alt-black media. And I'll talk more about that in different videos. So thank y'all for that. And just give y'all some more food for thought before I get on out.
With that said, thank you, family, for listening to me babble and rabble along. In the words of the great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing.